guys, what's going on? I know a lot of you are probably out and hunting, as I should be right now as well. Unfortunately, I had to do some just general household stuff, keep the missus happy, and you know how life gets in the way of all our fun, right? So I was out this morning and for the last 2 days hunting. And it's elk season right now, like prime time elk season in BC where I live. And I was bugling last night and I got a bull calling to me a few times, and it got me thinking this might be an interesting topic for a video, because there's lots of people who are new to elk calling, and I'm by no means an expert or even halfway there. I'm a totally like a novice elk caller myself, but I do have experience with lots of different calls because I'm obsessed with gadgets, more or less. So I figured what I would do is I would make a video and a suggestion video, or I would do a comparison video rather, that would allow someone who was totally new to elk calling get an idea of what they can expect from each type of call. I pretty much own every style of call that you can get at any type of like Cabela's or outdoorsman's store. So what I'll be running through today in the video, guys, is a standard bugling tube. There's no reeds in it or anything like that. It's literally just a tube that goes along with diaphragm reeds, and usually most guys will rock an assortment of them. I have the best luck with single reeds. Those are the only ones I tend to use. Anyway, so the bugling tube, and then this is actually made by Duel game calls. I don't know what you'd call this necessarily. This is like an integrated reed style tube. I think it's called the Max Duel, and it uses basically a piece of stretched rubber over the front of the lip to make the bugle. And then this tube, actually this compresses. This is called a Bush. It's made by Bush. The company is Bush, and it's just called the Bush Call, Bush in the Bush. And this is an integrated reed built into the wooden mouthpiece, and this just goes off of force. The harder you blow it, the higher the pitch. So it starts off as a pretty nasty growl, and the higher you go, you can kind of end your call. So I'll give you my thoughts on these all, and you can kind of weigh the pros and cons for yourself. So I'll run through them all individually now so you guys can have an idea. Okay guys, so this is the first one I'll go over. This is a bugling bull grunt tube, bugle tube, and it's just a bare tube. You can see straight through it. It's basically just a wiffle ball bat covered in camo fabric, and in order to use it you have to use these mouth reeds, or diaphragms, I believe they're called. So you can get a number of different diaphragms. These are singles, these are Carlton calls singles. I've got a few other styles as well, bugling bull and primos and stuff like that. I bought this tube when I started calling, or when I started trying to call, and an assortment of diaphragms. This is, in my opinion, the most difficult form of elk bugling device, if you want to call it that. Like, compared to the other options I'll show you, this is going to take the most time to get into, guys. This is going to take, you know, like 10 minutes a day practicing with your diaphragms for a number of weeks to get anywhere close to decent at it. I picked this because I watched a bunch of like elk calling championships, and all the guys are using these things. I think this is a musical instrument. This isn't even the combination of a diaphragm and this is an instrument you have to learn how to play like any other instrument. That's how you should think of this. You're learning to play a musical instrument, and that instrument happens to sound like an elk. You can make any type of call with it. Like you can do anything from warning barks, not that you'd ever do that. You can do cow calling, calf calling. You can do locator calls, full-on bugles, chuckles. You can do everything with this and this. The catch is it's going to be the biggest time investment. If you just want to get into the bush, if you bought a set of diaphragms and this tube, and you walked out into the bush having never practiced, you'd sound like a dead cat. It would be atrocious if you could even make noise at all with it. It took me probably a day of practicing off and on just to get like a decent sort of cow call, sort of. So I think if you're willing to invest the time, this is the one you're gonna have to do. Or if you're gonna invest, if you really feel like passionately pursuing it and getting into this and like making this like a hobby, you're gonna end up with a diaphragm and a bugling tube like this, and you're gonna probably get fantastic at it, and you'll be able to make some like beautiful elk calls if you have the time. So I will do my best impersonation now. Stand by. So again, the nice thing with this is the variety, right? You get a variety of noises you can make with a reed. Kind of on the spot with this, so these might be terrible. That's like your standard elk estrus kind of call. That's what I would do if I had a small bull that I knew a bugle would intimidate, try to get a call, try and get some talk back and forth between a small bull. Your standard kind of elk, your standard elk cow. I'll go for a bugle here. So, as you can see, this is a prime example. That bugle sucked. And it's because the reed, as I started to blow, the diaphragm shifted in my mouth. It could be just I have an awkward sized mouth, but this happens to be from time to time. I couldn't get the chuckle, I couldn't get the high pitch on the chuckle that I wanted, and I couldn't reach the highest note in the bugle that I wanted. It's still passable, and you wouldn't bump elk out of the area if you did that. You could even get a call back. But it doesn't take much to screw that up, and I practice with this, regularly. So that's kind of a demonstration what you can expect to get out of your standard bugle tube and melt diaphragm. Okay guys, so the next call you can listen to and kind of check out is this Duel. It's called Duel game calls. It's like the Duel, like as in like Pistols at Dawn Duel, like D-U-E-L, and it uses a piece of rubber, like rubber tape, just in front of kind of a built-in cutout on the call itself. They give you extra rubbers with it, and they give you extra O-rings for it, and I think you can probably buy extras for it online as well. So the physical size of it, it's about the same size as the bugling tube, so you're not going to be saving any size or weight by carrying this, but it is a hell of a lot easier to use. You could pick this up and in 10 minutes be like convincingly bugling elk. It's a lot easier to use than the just open tube and mouth diaphragm combination, but it's a lot harder to chuckle, and you're not going to be able to do cow calls and stuff like that with it. Anyway, I'll just give you guys a demonstration of this. So it's a super clean note, really crisp, like really clean tone to it. It's really loud. You can hit really high with it if you want. All you do is just increase air pressure on the reed. And I was using this last night, and I had a bull bugling me from probably 2 kilometers away. I had like 20 minutes of daylight left, but it's really convincing, and it's not too harsh. You're not gonna scare animals off with it. I think I paid $35 for it on sale. I wish I had got this before the just the basic tube and diaphragm. I would have been making convincing elk bugles a lot sooner. A 5-year-old kid could use this after 5 minutes of practice. If you just want to get out into the bush and do like really convincing bugles, this is a really tough one to beat. I would recommend this to anybody. Awesome value, pretty lightweight, and you're going to be bugling the first day you get it. Convincing, good bugles. Okay guys, I don't have much experience with this. This is a new one for me. This is called the Bush in the Bush. I guess it's by Bush's Game Calls. It's very compact, it's very light. It's about the size, the actual reed portion is about the size of a duck call. It weighs nothing. So it's extendable. So to use it, you have to extend it out. And it's even easier to use than the Duel game call because there's nothing to manipulate with your mouth. You have to butt your lip up against the reed on that and blow. It's super easy to do, but this, literally all you do is blow air through it. My wife just got home and I gave her a bugle with this, and we both agreed it sounds like really aggressive. I call it like the Satan Death Bull bugle. If you had like a small bull who wasn't very confident or sure of himself, and you hit him with this sucker, you could bump him. He'd probably just take off. This sounds like a really heated, nasty bull, but it's something to consider if you're chasing, you know, a big 6x7 5-year-old animal, and you know, if you want to mix it in with a variety of other calls, this might be a good tool to have in your arsenal. I'll blow it for you, and you can listen to what I'm talking about. It sounds like a demonic, pumped up roid bull. So there's a lot of throatiness. It goes really high. I'm doing this inside, but it is really freaking loud for a tiny little call. And the elk, again, sounds like it's an elk on steroids. So you want to be cautious with where you use this one. Okay guys, and just another easy one. I was thinking if some of you guys have decided that, you know, you just don't have the time to invest in learning how to use the diaphragm and the tube, then you're going to need a separate call to make cow noises, right? So if you were to go with like the Duel call or like the Bush's call, you'd need to make cow noises as well, right? If you go with the bugle tube with the diaphragm, you can make a variety of noises as I demonstrated. But this is just a little call by Primos. I'm not 100% on the name. I think it's called like it's not the hoochie mama that you push with your hands. It's like the elk talk or something like that. It's like $15. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at any sporting goods store. Really easy to use, and it makes a pretty convincing noise. Lots of experienced elk hunters around here use this with good luck. Anyway, I'll demonstrate the cow call for you. Super loud, again, especially to do indoors, but you get an idea of the noises you can make with that. So again, pretty convincing calf call. So yeah, this is kind of the onslaught of calls or selection of calls I've accumulated. If I was going to make a recommendation to a beginner, I would say probably this guy. If you want to just buy something and go hit the bush, this Duel game call, you can make awesome, super convincing calls with it in about with about 5 minutes worth of practice. If you want something compact and you hunt like heat of the rut, where bulls are bugling their faces off all night and they're scrapping and hunting for cows, something like this might be great for you. You could scare bulls off with this, is my concern. It sounds pretty aggressive. And yeah, and if you want to play the instrument, you can pick one of these guys up with some diaphragms and just spend the off season practicing. If you get good at this, you know, it makes everything else obsolete. And if you look at what the professional guys, like you look at like Rocky and Corey Jacobson and, you know, all these really well-known elk callers and elk hunters, they're all using these and they sound unbelievable. Alrighty guys, I hope you found this video useful. Hopefully it saves you guys some time and frustration. You can hear the different calls, and yeah, good luck this season. Take care.